Into This Week in Missouri Politics Midweek Update. I am Scott Fahn, the publisher of the Missouri Times, host of This Week in Missouri Politics, and you'll notice something a little different about the desk this week. There is no Stein of Knowledge this week. There is a KMOS mug, and the reason for that is if you're watching this in Sedalia, if you're watching this at the Lakes, Jeff City, Columbia, Moberly, anywhere in Central Missouri, now you'll be able to watch This Week in Missouri Politics Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on KMOS, the PBS affiliate here in mid-Missouri. I cannot tell you how excited I am. We're going to tape our first show this week. We're going to bring you Senator Rizzo, Senator Rowden. We're going to bring you the top leaders of the Senate right to your TV. We'll talk about everything. You might get an opinion about a map out of somebody. We'll talk about the whole kind of breadth of the Senate, the situation of the Senate, with the two leaders of the Senate, the two co-leaders of the Senate, Caleb Rowden and Senator Rizzo. They'll be this Sunday morning. Will air at 9 a.m. on KMOS. Anywhere in mid-Missouri, you can now see. You can now watch This Week in Missouri Politics. We hope you'll join us. I hope over time we'll earn your trust and you'll enjoy the show every Sunday morning. Make it part of your Sunday morning routine. Now on KMOS, it's Sunday mornings at 9. Let's jump right into it. Obviously, busy week. I have a personal story to tell you. However, University of Central Missouri, where we'll take this at Warrensburg. We're moving into the Greiton stuff. I have to say, Mo the Mule, he's going to have to shine his eyes. He doesn't want to see this. The Greiton stuff popped. It is it's sad, really. When someone shoots at you or something, I think not having a little shot from them bad days is almost impossible. But the allegations take it where you feel guilty if you have any shot for it. I mean, it's a very serious situation. Eric Greiton's dealt with the situation the way you would expect him to, by calling someone deranged and saying there's a vast right-wing conspiracy out to get him. I think he said it like Mitch McConnell somehow. I mean, it's reached the point of sad more than it's reached the point of more than it's reached the point of anything else. It's just kind of reached the point of sad. Here's the thing. I don't think he drops out. I mean, here's what he could have done. He could have said, look, I got to step away from this and pause this campaign for a couple months. Dealt with this issue. Maybe come back in June, July, pick the race up. I don't actually think that would hurt him. I mean, if you were still an Eric Greiton supporter before this, you were willing to swallow a lot of stuff, right? But he could have stepped back and ran for governor in 2 years. I mean, Eric Greiton loves to be in politics. He desires to be in politics more than you can imagine. It's always the ones that talk about how much they hate the system and hate politics that'll literally just stab someone to stay in it. And I think that I think he's the one that'll run. He'd be running for dog catcher when he's 70 just to try to stay involved and have a reason to Facebook and tweet and stuff. But the breakdown of the race is this. Look, Schmidt, you could tell. You knew it was in number 2. A couple people sent me this. This is the way Eric Greiton attacks you. It's not man to man. He'll have some dark money group send out mailers like this and call you a liberal. I don't know if this was an homage to me, but I love it. I think it's terrific. It's very well designed, slick gloss. It's good work. But this is how Eric Greiton attacks you. He's not really a man to come to your face and do it. He'll do it. He'll do it with little stuff like this. And it's just sort of the way he's always done things. But I think Eric Greiton thinks Eric Schmidt is in second place, right? He just does. And this is proof of it. So if I was Eric Schmidt, I would be thrilled that the weirdo sex pervert doesn't like me. But then this stuff comes out. So the state of the race probably is that Vicky Hartzler was always gaining. She put out an incredible list of ag folks yesterday. I mean, good night. She blew the doors off with that ag list. So then you have her. She's always been going to be a slow gainer in this race. I thought she had the best organization on the ground. If she has money, I think she's was always destined to be a very good a top tier candidate. Now you flip over and you kind of look at you flip over and you look at Schmidt. I mean, Schmidt has been kind of playing it up. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think some of the, COVID's just over. Let's just be honest. It just is. if you're a Republican, it's been over for a long time, probably. You just, truth be told, if you're in rural Missouri, it's been over since about the summer of 20. As far as how you live your daily life, right? And so now that Schmidt is gone, now that Schmidt is his status in this race changed this week. I think he was still trying to like rub some sticks together and get a code fire. And look, I think some folks, if you were out trying to rattle people FBI, so fine, good, whatever. But so I think, I think in rural Missouri, people are so sick of COVID, even if you're dogging people that were too over the top about COVID, people just want to talk about something else. And let's be candid. In the media, when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, the media thought COVID was cured. They just did. Now there's new variants and things can happen and all this stuff. I get it, but for the brown people who live their day like regular folks, they've moved on. And if you have a serious health problem, I understand. If anybody was wearing a mask, fine with me. But I think regular folks have just moved on from this. So, long story short, I think Schmidt probably now changes a little bit. He doesn't have to probably work as hard to get attention because, I think he's probably going to be the front runner. Now, in these races with 5 or 6 people, that's tough. First question I had here was, does Grimes drop out? I don't think he does. Why would he? He's that super PAC's already got probably $3-4 million in it. Now, are you really going to want to cut Eric Greitens a check now? I mean, some folks might, but geez, I mean, that ain't what you want to be. I think, you see you're on a list of that, and church people kind of look at you a little squirrely-eyed. Maybe another dad says, I don't think Susie should stay the night over at Bill's house. He's a little bit of a freak, obviously. So the other parts, I mean, look, at the response was quick. You expected his opponents to say this is too much. You expected decent people to say this is too much. Josh Hawley, look, I understand it. A lot of folks I know personally, everyone respects his intellect and his political abilities. Some folks don't respect some of the things he does, or maybe some things he doesn't do, focuses on. I get that. I share some of that, to be honest with you. But I always say this. That dude, when he was AG, running for U.S. Senate, had everything to lose by talking, and he spoke up and pushed back. He did more than anybody I've ever known in that office. I am a supporter of Eric Schmidt. I don't think Eric Schmidt would have done what Josh Hawley did with Eric Grimes. I really don't. The guy had a damn backbone, and I'm telling you, that you could dislike Josh Hawley. That's your prerogative. And the thing at the Capitol, whatever. I don't think people care about that as much as some people think they should, but that's their business. At the end of the day, I really, the guys had a backbone. He come out hard and said you shouldn't be in the Senate. Roy Blunt even said something, and it's the first time I've seen him criticize Greitens. Then you had the St. Louis Young Republicans come out and say, we're not associated with this. This has got to be over. Now the Republican Party of the state, man, I would think that you probably shouldn't tweet anything until you address this, because you will look like clowns and idiots and fools. I understand Eric Greitens will still have supporters after this. That's just true. But sometimes you kind of got to say where you are. And I heard some people throwing a little grief to a guy. Charlie Dalton is the guy. If you don't follow politics closely, he's the guy on the ground that runs the party as his professional job. Other people are in elected offices, you probably don't even know, but you vote for a committee man or committee woman by Senate districts, and they elected chairman. Charlie works there. I don't think it's fair. The criticism of that party is going to grow and grow and grow until they do something. And so I don't think it's fair to heap that on Charlie. It's fair to heap that if they still aren't able to lead, if they're too weak to act, you hit the people that are in the offices. And because, Charlie works for them. That's his job. You have a boss. His boss is a guy named Nick Myers out of Joplin. Good dude. I don't think the thing is about now good or bad. Obviously, if you're supporting him now, you're supporting, they limited his access to firearms. He wasn't being sufficiently cooperative. A wife had to sleep in the room with her children because she was afraid. This thing is just, I listened to Senator John Lamping. John Lamping was a big Eric Greitens supporter. John Lamping's like, if you're kind of in the againer side of something, John's going to be, and Eric Greitens was always the victim, always the whiny person people were persecuting. Senator Lamping was a big supporter of his, but Senator Lamping, as I understand it, actually knows Schmidt Greitens. I heard him do a radio interview. And he did kind of, I don't think he doesn't like Eric Schmidt at all. They served together. They still he doesn't, I don't know how Eric Schmidt was. John Lamping doesn't like Eric Schmidt. He's pretty open about that. Vicky Hartz, I guess he doesn't like either. So he was talking, about the issues. Well, that's not real, and he knows that. But he did not call Sheena Greitens a liar, and I think he knows her. And I would not tell you that I know her, but I think she was always very credible. I thought the best argument he had when he was sticking in was that Sheena Greitens was still with him. So, so where we are with it, I think, is, there's a bunch of weird stuff in here. I'm not even going to read it all. I mean, it's he knocked her down, took her phone. I mean, it's look, you can read it. And I guess my thought is there's about three different people here. There's about three different ways you could look at this. I think you look at, if you're still there, there's three ways you are. You're either one of the stupidest and most naive Missourians in the history of mankind. And there are some of them. Number two, you're being paid to pretend you're one of the stupidest and most naive people in the history of mankind. I saw some folks piling on that Dylan. There's a guy named Dylan that works on his campaign. Look, he's a young kid. Look, if you're John Lamping, right? John's one of the smarter people that's ever served in the legislature. He's just intelligent. If you think you're smart, John Lamping's probably on a different level than you as far as intelligence. If you've never supported a candidate that's let you down, you just haven't supported any candidates, right? But, John's a grown man, right? He makes his choices. If he comes out and defends Eric Greitens, of course, everyone will kind of look down on him. He did the interview. It was really very artful. It was very intelligent how he did that interview with Mark Cox. But if you're talking about a kid who's paid, who looks up to their boss, I've had a boss when I first started being in politics that I looked up to immensely. Don't blame the staff. I mean, the kid's it's not his fault, man. He probably believes in him. You're saying you're with someone every day. You bond as a friend, as a mentor, and somebody that's as talented as Eric Greitens. I mean, whatever. I don't believe in bonding on a staff guy like that. He's in a spot. Imagine being him right now. But I think, that's the second. You're paid to pretend you're a total idiot. And then the third is, the truth is, if you're with him and you're not stupid and you're not paid to pretend you're stupid, then let's be honest. You're probably just a sicko too. And you kind of like to see one of your own get elected, right? I mean, I like to see a German get elected. I like to see a fat guy get elected, whatever. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but let's be honest. You're either a complete idiot, paid to be a complete idiot, or you're probably a freak too. And that's just where that is. I think the time for going back and forth and obfuscating and parsing your words, I mean, that's fine. But if you're at like a political party and you want to come out and say, oh, we're doing this big thing for something, at the same time you're not commenting on this, you're looking like a clown. And so I would encourage the Missouri GOP, just pick your lane, right? You're either on one side or you're an idiot, paid to pretend to be an idiot, or you're sick freaks. I don't really know where on the spectrum you fall at this point. How much are you willing to swallow? Do you really believe every single woman in the world? Is it some right-wing conspiracy of Republicans to get him? Do you really believe Mitch McConnell? I mean, come on. The best argument he had before was it was a matter between him and his wife. If his wife was okay with him, which many people made, and it was an effective argument he should stay. Now you don't have that one even. You just look sad. But people look sad. Speaking of courts and sadness, So your old friendly hillbilly is now going to take on the Jeff City parking folks. I don't understand it. Jeff City is so well ran. It is a tremendous town. I mean, if you don't, Jeff City is the most wonderful ambassador for the state to come here. It is such a great front door to the state of Missouri. People from all states come here. It's just the downtown's clean. The people are nice. There's a place to eat and shop. Downtown Jeff City is a wonderful, wonderful place. And if you haven't been here, give it about another 2 weeks and come when the spring is in. It's great. I mean, the festivals come on a Wednesday night watch legislation and Thursday night lives are one. I mean, Jeff City is so great. And then there's the meter maids. And look, I don't understand how they do this. How could you have such a well-run city and then this? So I've complained about it for a while. A few of you have. So I was told by the mayor she's going to do something about it. She told me that twice. Nothing. Now, it could be the folks at City Hall just don't care what she thinks. Or maybe she was putting me on. I don't know. One of the two, right? So I'm going to now take my case to a jury. I'm so far 0-1 in these things in life. I'm going to give it a second try. I think I have a pretty good case. I don't think the meter maids have a clue how long you're parked there at all. I don't think they have any idea how long you park at a spot. Or they might know where you are at 2 data points. They don't know where you are in the middle. And here's the thing. You write a ticket every so often. Fine, whatever. I mean, I'll kick in. I think at this point, the compromise should be you get every administrator that makes over $60,000 a year at City Hall. And whoever thinks this parking situation is good, why don't, if you're that hard up for money, be more honorable. Just have one of you lay out in front of a bar with a tin can and beg for money, right? If that's where you're at. If you're just that broke, you're that bad at managers. I really think that rocking a boat in City Hall is harder than you think because you're going to tick off someone's brother-in-law and somebody that you do business with. Somebody buys a car to car, I think there's a guy in there that just loves to write these down. They wanted to build, the truth is, I think, they wanted to build a parking garage, right? That's what they wanted to do. So they wanted to build a park, and to government people, they think if it's not out of general revenue, somebody cares about that. No one cares. You and I know that, but that's what they think. So they wanted to, they wrote these tickets like hell wouldn't have it, and just ridiculous. I mean, they stayed out there and just wait for the time. They wrote me one where my tire's kind of on the line of taking up 2 spaces. I'm not kidding. And here's the clowns. This is how bad it is. They wrote me a ticket for taking up 2 spaces because part of my tire was on the white line, right? Then they took a picture of it and put it online for when you maybe pay the ticket. They're proud. They think this is good. I'm not kidding. It is the most bizarre thing. I just don't understand the just lack of judgment. You had 2 people get elected to the city council that was going to stop this. City Hall didn't care. Just they don't care. Now you got 3 or 4 on there out of 10 right now that they have a little backbone and spine. They'd be the only ones. Ron Fitzwater is going to run for mayor. Now you want to talk about old boy with some spine and backbone. Now that dude will tell you like how to eat the cabbage. Ron is probably the best way to fix this. But in the meantime, I'm going to do my part. And so I'm leaving from here to go to court to request my jury trial. As Judge Beadham's poster says, it's the right of every citizen, even this one. So I'll keep you posted about my traffic ticket jury trial. If you'd like to write a letter, a friend of the court letter, please do so. You can send it here to 225 Madison. I'll submit them all together. I mean, if you've had an experience, like so many of you have reached out to me, now's the time to just do something. I mean, look, could it be worse? Can it be? Maybe like 7 or 8 people just drive around these 5 or 6 blocks to harass people. I ask you, seriously, could it be worse? You have so many good people at the parking thing. I've met some of them. Some do their jobs. Now you got a couple people. I think it's from one guy in City Hall, the guy that screwed up they tried to build that garage. He shit the bed on it. I think they must just tell these people, harass every living soul that is unfortunate enough to stand still in Jeff City. Just harass the hell out of them. And so we'll see. It could be a landmark case, Vaughn versus Jefferson City. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I have a bad track record in these, but we'll see if I can turn things around starting here in about 10 minutes as I go down to City Hall. KMOS, always Sunday, ABC 30 in St. Louis. KMOS here in Central Missouri, the PBS affiliate, Sundays at 9. And then we are going to have an announcement with some new friends here next week about maybe we're going to do a little radio. So please tune in, watch us, subscribe, but mostly I would be so honored if you gave us a shot. If you're in Central Missouri here, give us a shot on KMOS on Sunday mornings. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you Sunday for This Week in Missouri Politics.